Our warm weather season is officially here, but that means something else is too, bugs. May is the unofficial start of mosquito season here on the Sun Coast. But mosquitoes can be more than just annoying. They can also spread disease to both people and our pets. Matthew Smith and Taylor Greenan of Sarasota County Mosquito Management are here to help protect us from these pesky pests. It seems too early. I don't want the mosquitoes here yet.
It's never too early for mosquitoes. This is Florida. You have mosquitoes year-round. They're just worse.
They're getting aggressive.
Yeah.
All right, so you actually have a great visual that shows us where are we right now in May in their life cycle.
Really, I would just like to say it's more of the ramp up. Actually, you've got all those all the time. The life cycle is actually a pretty quick cycle, but right now you're having a lot of things that either overwintered as larvae or pupae or even as adults getting going now. So you have eggs hatching, larvae starting to mature that may have been dormant, during the winter season, and adults that were hiding. They're going to come out and start biting, sucking blood, generating those eggs, and looking for places to lay them. So all we need now is some more water, and we'll have a problem.
Oh, so the water will obviously stimulate the growth.
Yes.
All right, you brought, speaking of water, there's water in this example that you also brought to show us a little more about their life cycle. Show us what we have here.
I think we have all the stages represented. You can see some, oh, sorry, Joe.
That's all right. We're going to move them around a
Yeah,
little. So these are all the stages. Even just
mosquitoes.
seeing them, I'm starting to itch.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually if you blow on them, they'll get to flying around.
Okay.
We've got adult females, there's eggs in the bottom and larvae, and maybe even some pupae. The pupae is the stage where the larva, which is completely aquatic, reorganizes into an adult. So they're the little things that look like a comma.
So we hear all the time to get rid of standing water. Is this an example of why? Because they like it, they breed in it?
So this is what could be happening in our yard now.
if we don't dump our pots and all that kind of
and
thing?
that's Taylor's our new outreach coordinator, and that's her job, is to try to convince every single person in Sarasota County to dump out water.
I have a question about standing water. If somebody has a vacant house, pool unattended, and it's full of water that maybe had chemicals in it at one point, can it be a breeding ground for mosquitoes if it's gone?
That's bad news. That's
We
bad
used
news
to have
for
one
a
of
lot
those,
us.
yes.
So I have a question. I'm always the first one to get bit whenever I'm in a group. Are there certain people or blood types that mosquitoes are drawn to? Do we know?
I do know that science thus far has been able to determine that mosquitoes have a preference for certain people over others, so there will be people getting bit more often than others. However, they haven't really been able to piece together specifically or that really important pinpoint of why they are choosing others.
You're
over
just fun to be
Great.
around, Joey.
I'm big with mosquitoes. Well, it isn't just actually about people. I know they're annoying to us, but they actually can harm our pets as well. And you brought something, it's a little bit hard to look at, I'll be honest, but it is important to know. Tell us what you brought here.
So we have a dog heart. It has been infected with a heartworm, which is a parasite that mosquitoes can transmit to your dog if you don't medicate them. So
This is what infection looks like. The long strings are
Yes,
actually
that's
the
that
Spaghetti-looking stuff.
Yes.
Is
So do mosquitoes bite dogs?
Yes.
Okay, so when we give them, I know in my case we do the monthly pill. So that prevents them from getting the problem from the mosquitoes.
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
that's
but
interesting.
not getting bitten.
They still get bit.
They
it's
still,
just,
yes.
Okay, it's
That
not
will
a-
help.
that-
So I know this is difficult to look at, but it is important to know that this can
That's
happen
awful.
if you don't
Yeah.
seek help for your dogs. In the past, you have brought some tips of the 5Ds or the 4Ds, and I'll be honest, I don't remember them, of ways that we can, kind of protect ourselves. But I hear that you've simplified them a little bit.
Yes, yeah. For the most part, it's just really dump and cover. So anything that you've got out in your yard that is holding water, you want to dump it and then either bring it inside and just kind of simplify things to make sure that there's no standing water.
And then keep yourself covered is the cover
Yes.
part. I
Yes.
know we have bromeliads in our yard which hold a lot of water, and so I'm constantly trying to drain them or put things over them so that they won't. You have another option which I love in front of Stephanie. You have fish that can help. Tell us about the fish program.
Yeah, we do. We have an entire aquaculture system at our compound where we grow these things. They're wild, they're native fish. So we take them out of the wild, we grow them, it's a better way to keep track of them. Make sure you're not transporting any invasive species around by just moving fish from pond to pond. And you put those in a water source like an old pool or fountains, koi ponds, things like that, and they'll breed and reproduce and eat tons and tons of larvae. They're great. They're great control. And we make these available to the public. People can call and schedule and come by and pick them up. Our technicians use them as a form of treatment so that we use less chemical.
That's great.
I
That is
did that in
amazing.
my neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a pool that hadn't been used in a year or so, so we got the fish, dumped them in, and it worked. It
Really?
really works for
Yeah.
all of us.
It's just another tool in the toolkit. We have a lot of tools in our toolkit, fortunately. Because mosquitoes breed in so many various different types of habitats and different ones bite different things. This is just one of the tools. They're
It's a
hard-working
great
tool.
resource you have. Now, all right, mosquitoes are one thing, but before we go, I want to talk a little bit about love bugs.
Yeah.
If you haven't, if you've stepped outside, you've noticed it is their season. So I have a couple questions, because I've heard some rumors about love bugs. First of all, were they genetically engineered in Florida in a lab? That is the biggest rumor that I've ever heard.
No, they were not. I can unequivocally say they were not. They are natural organisms. Love bugs are, they're a species of fly. The scientific family name is the Bibionidae, the family. And there's actually a species of love bug that's native to Florida. It's called Plesia americana, and then the ones that you see everywhere else are Plesia nearctica. They actually originated in Central America, but they're believed to have migrated naturally. Just a lot of that migration occurred in the early part of the century. So there are writings as far back as 1910 about major love bug problems in Louisiana.
Do they have a purpose? I mean, seriously, what is their purpose
good
in
question.
life?
I always tell them they have the same purpose as we do, as anything does. You know, it's like anything living. It's like you can almost. It's like with a metaphysical question. What is the
Right,
purpose?
right.
But they do things. Eat them. The larvae live most of the year in the top layer of the soil, and they eat like the old vegetative matter. So I mean, they are considered decayers. They do feed on
Okay.
nectar somewhat, so they can be considered pollinators. They're a food source. They're just problematic because they come out 2 times a year, big swarms,
Masses.
get all over your car.
Is there any
How
threat
long
to
is it gonna
them? Is there any
last?
threat to the love bugs?
No,
Yeah, who eats them?
Yeah.
not enough.
Not enough. Yeah, good
But I
answer.
did hear wash your car. If they're on the front of your
Yeah.
car, wash your car because they will ruin the paint.
How
All
long
right.
will they last?
Usually about a month.
All right. Well, hopefully that part of the month will go by
2
quick.
times a year, though.
To find out more about getting the fish and the other Sarasota County preventions that you'll need to fight the mosquitoes, and I don't know, maybe we can fight the love bugs, you want to go to the county's website, scgov.net, and go to Mosquito Management Services tab. All right, coming up next, we're going to learn how to pamper mom for Mother's Day.